Hey, welcome back to Brendan Fitness and Money, the channel where we use the power of sweat and spreadsheets to crush our goals. Hey, today's video is all about what an IRA is in the most basic sense. This video is for you if you've been wondering what all the fuss is about IRAs. First of all, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. That just means that it's something that you own, that you start for yourself. It's not tied to your job or to anybody else. It is strictly yours. The reason why they're so popular is they're incentivized for you to do by the federal government. So basically the federal government says, if you do this, then we'll give you certain tax breaks, which means you keep more of your money. This is a good thing. This is something that we all want. Keep more of your money, give less of it to taxes, way to go. So the way it works is you open it yourself through any number of brokers, all of which nowadays are online, and basically you choose the kind of account that you want and you open it, you fund it, you choose your investments, and you're off to the races. So there's obviously a ton of brokers online that you can choose from. I personally use Vanguard and M1 Finance for my wife and my IRAs. Vanguard is an easy choice because they literally invented the index fund back in the day. Their fees are super low, their funds are great. It's a no-brainer. In a future video, I'll describe the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA, but for now, we'll stick to the basics. Remember, the reason that an IRA is so significant is you get a tax break. So the reason that you get a tax break from the government is you essentially lock this money up. If you access it before certain timelines, which are generally an age timeline that's set by the government, then you get hit with a penalty. This doesn't mean you can't touch the money. It's still yours, you can touch it. You just have to know that you'll get hit with taxes and a penalty if you withdraw it too early. So how do you invest in an IRA? First, pick a broker. Start an account with them. Next, after you've chosen Roth or traditional, fund the account. So this just means you transfer money from your bank account to your investment account. There's normally kind of a holding area, like a purgatory for your money, where it sits to wait to then get put to work. So this can take sort of 3 to 5 business days. Feels like a really long time to wait because you're probably ready to invest whenever you open the account, but be patient. It's worthwhile. Once you've waited those 3 to 5 business days, the money settles in the account, then you're ready to invest because you can pick your investments, buy them, and then let them simmer. So when it comes to Roth versus traditional or the investments that you pick, there is no perfect answer. This totally depends on you, your tax situation, your goals, your income, and overall the kind of life that you want. So this is where it helps to delve a little bit deeper into the details, but for today, we'll stick to the basics like I said. Generally, if we have to make some general statements, an index fund that tracks the whole stock market has performed better than selecting more specific things like individual stocks, or more than paying an investment professional to sort of pick and choose investments for you and then charge you really high fees. So the key thing here, if you're ready to start, you don't want to watch any more videos, just tell me the answer. The answer is pick things with the lowest expense ratio that are the most diversified. This insulates you from risk, and this makes sure that you're not paying a high fee for something that you can otherwise get or get something really similar to for not such a high fee. This is one of the weird areas where paying someone who knows more than you doesn't really help generally. In exercise, like if I get a running coach right now because I want to run my first 50K, that will help. I need the professional help, the experience, because the way my body works will be similar enough to where they can use their experience to interact with me and train me well, and I'll get better results. In finance, in stock market investing, it just doesn't work that way because no one can predict the future. There's too many variables. There's a select few people who have beat the market over the long haul, but everyone else has failed. So stick to the basics, lessen your risk, ultimately minimize your expense ratios, which just means minimize the fees that you pay. This is a really exciting time because if you're getting into investing, ultimately your money has either gone from your employer to you and then to goods and services, or you've just stuffed it in like a bank account. And so it's not really done any work for you. It's not multiplied itself. Now your money is going to self-multiply. These little fun coupons are going to take themselves and turn into more and more and more and more. And you'll ultimately have like this little business on your hands that is self-replicating. It's really awesome. So some of the ways that investing is different than a bank account. This is a discussion that I've had with people whenever they get started investing, where there's a sort of separation in their mind between how an investment account works and how like a normal bank account works. Let me explain. We'll use drinks. Water is sort of like your bank checking account. It's sealed. You know what you're getting whenever you take a look at it. Just like whenever you have a checking account, it's not very exciting. You're not gaining a lot of interest, if any. Next is some tea. This is kind of like your savings account. It's a little bit more exciting than the water. It's basically still water, and they'll pay you a tiny bit more interest than in your checking account. Uneventful, forgettable. Finally, you have something like a LaCroix, which is basically your high yield savings account. If you've ever had a LaCroix, you know that this is barely a step above either of the other two. There's no more flavor. There's barely any flavor at all. Slightly more entertaining. It's doing a little bit more for you. That's your high yield savings account. So where a normal checking account gets you very little, if any, interest, a savings account might get you 0.1%. A high yield savings account as of today in 2020, probably getting you about 0.8%, which again doesn't sound like a lot, but 8, 10, 15 times more than these other accounts is a lot more interesting. This is different whenever you're investing. When you're investing, it's sort of like you've got this empty container. You fund your account, you send your money to M1 Finance or Vanguard or whoever, and they let it sit in that purgatory account, in just some kind of holding account, until you decide what goes in it. So they say, here you go, Brendan. Thanks for giving us your money. What do you want us to do with it? You can pick whatever investments you want, stuff them in here. Could be just one, could be 100 different things. Whatever you choose, all goes in here, gets blended up, but nothing happens until you choose. So does that make sense? There's one extra step over and above like a bank account. This is something I think M1 Finance does really well, and they kind of depict in this like pie chart way that makes sense and helps you understand how much of your money is going into each area, which is great. It's cool. Vanguard does it in a more textual, basic, formatted way. That's fine too. It's not important. The important thing is that you're taking control of your money. Your money's going to work for you now, and you've got options over and above these other boring options. That's kind of it for this one. These are just the very most basic tips for an IRA. An IRA is an excellent tool for you. If you don't have access to a 401k at work, or if they don't do a match there, or if in general you just want to have more control than the limited options you might have with work investment options or any other options, an IRA gives you total control. There are some limits, there are some fine print things, but that'll be coming up in future videos really soon. Thanks for watching. See ya. It's all about... I don't need to talk about that right now. Actually,